Now, your odyssey to become who you are began in earnest at CNN. Do you remember those days back there?
Barely.
Yeah. So Beck was on, I remember in my office, I have a bank of monitors so I can look at what the competition is doing. Every, what, 4 o'clock in the afternoon? Is that when you were on?
I was 7.
Right.
It was 7.
Was it 7?
It was 7.
Just felt like 4.
Thank you. That's because you were having dinner.
Yeah, whatever it was. So I used to see this guy Beck. He looked a little like the Pillsbury Doughboy. And they didn't hire him for his looks, obviously. So let me turn up the sound. So I turned up the sound, and there you are.
Right.
Putting forth, you weren't.
When you say you turned up the sound,
let's put developed as you are now, but you were a traditional guy in CNN,
right? Which
isn't a traditional network. So
no.
How did you function over there? How did you get along over there?
I didn't. They were the longest elevator rides in my life. They really were. They never ended. I think I worked on like the 7th floor. It might have been the 107th floor. I swear to you, this is true. These big elevators, and they would open up, and everybody would be full, and everybody, oh, we're so liberal and so snotty. And then they'd see me. And it would be silent the whole time. I used to ride with this guy who just loved to irritate liberals, just loved it. And we would get into the elevator, and they would have, CNN News. They'd have the newscast on the elevators, and so if you watch it, and one time, and I would look at him every time, knock it off. And I was just trying to be peaceful, just get along, just get to the 7th floor. And he would always make comments. And I never forget it. He saw somebody, and it was a border story. And he looked at me, and I'm like, don't. All these liberals were in there. He saw the elevator story. He said, people are crawling over the fences. Well, there's something a 30-06 could fix. Not popular, not helpful.
But there's one personality at CNN.
Yes.
He's a little bit diminished now, but I think I saw a special rapport between you and Larry King.
We were like this. We were, yeah.
Yeah, but he looks like the kind of guy that you would
push into the refrigerator. They put him on a hand truck, and they wheel him into the refrigerator. It's kind of like Walt Disney. First time I met him, it was the strangest meeting. I'd never met the man before. And he was very nice, but kind of in a, I don't know, Dracula sort of way. He would walk down the hallway like this. And we were in Los Angeles, and I had never met him before. And there's all of these people in this room, and of course I'm over with the cookies. I'm like, I love Los Angeles, they have cookies for free. And all of a sudden the room gets really quiet, and there was like 40 people in the room when I turned to the cookie tray, and then I turned back because it's quiet, and I'm like, nobody's in the room anymore, I wonder why. And there, about 6 feet behind me, just staring at me, was Larry King. And I said, hey, Mr. King, how are you? So, that's what he said. You're the Mormon. I didn't know what to say. Until I met Bill O'Reilly. It was one of those moments I just didn't know what to say. And I told this story to Bill, and Bill said, oh no, I wouldn't tell you how to handle that. This is Bill's suggestion. So, you're the Mormon. So, you're the Jew. Brilliant. Not helpful, but brilliant.
You didn't say that, though. You wish you had. You're going to do this this event in Israel.
Yes.
Okay. Why? What do you want people to take away from that event? What's different between that and the event you did in D.C. where 45 people showed up?
Don't be kind.
See, I have to stick up. I have to stick up for Beck. It was a humongous crowd this day. Huge. Right? So I'm watching, I'm flipping around, and there's Beck, and he's up on the stage, and Lady Gaga was there, right? Somebody
in a wheelchair.
A lot of stuff. And it's a very impressive crowd. Obviously, what, 100, 200,000 people, easy. So then I'm flipping around on the stage with MSNBC. A couple of dozen people showed up to see Glenn Beck.
MSNBC actually,
unbelievable.
MSNBC actually said, these kind of crowds are not unusual in Washington, especially on the weekends when there are so many tourists. They've just all gathered here together because they heard something going on. Oh.
It was really unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. All right, so here's what I want to take away. I've put out the call to the entire world, and I don't know how many people are going to come. I can tell you that we have now representatives, people coming from over 100 countries, to stand with Israel, including people from Bahrain. We have politicians and ambassadors from 78 different countries now. We have 4 people, including one from a country, I can't name the 4 because they have said the one that just contacted is from the Middle East and said, I feel so compelled to be there, but you have to promise me that you can put me someplace where television won't capture me. He's a prominent politician in his country. He said, you can't put a camera there and have him capture me because if I come home, I will be beheaded. There are 4 people, 4, that have said, one of them have said that they may speak and announce their standing with the state of Israel, and he said, I please would like to reserve the right to back out at the last minute. I will be there, but I may not speak because it will mean that I return home and I die.
You want the world to know that Israel is a good place, it stands for something, and should be protected.
I think it is time for the world to stop the nonsense and know that there is a difference between good and evil. Israel, just like America, may make mistakes, but we do not behead people, and neither does Israel. There is a difference between good and evil, and we have to stand. I will tell you that the last 2 weeks have changed me as much, almost, as much as, hate to get all religious on you, Bill, but as much as my baptism did, it has changed me fundamentally to the core. And I love these people. And there is, wait a minute, and there is something to be said that must be said, and that is every time throughout history, the Jews have been chased out of every country and told, go someplace else. Enough is enough. They have their own state. They have a right to defend themselves. Enough is enough.
Okay, so it's a pro-Israel. Pro-Israel. Is it going to be both Beck and I believe that there's a Muslim problem in the world, and of course that
no.
Whoopi enjoyed to leave the building, and I'll tell you the story in a moment. But is there going to be an anti-Muslim component?
No. Okay. There are Arabs and Muslims.
Okay, so there's not going to be any because once you get into the beheading stuff, then that